Good morning.
Good morning.
So, today, our topic, I think, is gonna be on how to deal with, the feelings of fear and being scared and, cause, that's what's been going on with me for the whole week. And I think it's just one of the things that Spirit is saying that needs to be addressed. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. But we'll start off, hi Pam. Pam is back. It's good to see you. To start off with, we're gonna start off with our prayer, and then Rodney, for the ones that haven't been here, we play a song at the starting of each class that actually pertains to how you feel about yourself, and usually after the class, you'll be able to pinpoint something out of that song that you can really reflect on how you felt about yourself. And music is always a healer, and a lot of people don't know that music heals a lot of things, and so you can get a lot of good vibrational energy out of music if you listen to the right type. Because there's many types out there. So we'll start off with our prayer first, and then we'll get started. And I'm sorry that we're running late, but we'll still have a good show today. Still have a good program. So we call them Grandfather and Father and everybody in the great I Am's council up in the universe this morning, and we thank everybody for being here. And we ask that our hearts join together in this learning that's going to be taking place today in this program, and each one of us will walk away with healing and with understanding of things that they can do for themselves to help their path go a little bit easier. We all need that at this time because of all the stuff that is going on in the world. And we thank you, Lord, for being our guide in all of this. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And I hope. I'm so sorry. Will you answer that? That's Letitia. She's probably not gonna come. Did I lose you?
I am me.
Oh, you're fixing to play the song.
To be another. I would never want to be another. I will not change who I am just to fit in. I am me. I am not perfect, but I'm working on myself. Working to become the best version of myself. I am working on myself to continue to expand my own self through my own work, in my own way. I am me. Not the me you think I am. Not the me you want me to be, but just me, the one I want to be. I am me. I make my own decisions. I don't follow. I walk my own path. It's not always easy, but I'd rather walk alone than walk with others in the wrong direction. I am me. I am strong. I have a big heart. I speak my truth. I don't back down. I am me. I don't settle. I go after what I want. I won't apologize for being me. I am me. I accept you. I accept everyone as they are, as they want to be. That's me.
I'm sorry, I don't know why it's fussing like that.
All yours, ShaHaWin.
You're buffing, the song is buffing, so I don't know if it's on your side.
Did you want me to play it again?
Well, was it buffering for all of y'all? Could you all hear it or shake your head? Let me know. Did you hear it okay or was it buffering for you?
It was garbledy, but
Yeah.
I got the message on the.
Okay, start it over and see if you'll play, but I think it's coming from your side, Rodney.
I think it is too. I'll try again.
It's a really good song.
I am me.
Don't worry about calling.
Be another. I will not change who I am just to fit in. I am me. I am not perfect, but I'm working on myself. Working to become the best version of myself. I am working on myself to continue to expand my own self through my own work, in my own way. I am me. Not the me you think I am. Not the me you want me to be, but just me, the one I want to be. I am me. I make my own decisions. I don't follow. I walk my own path. It's not always easy, but I'd rather walk alone than walk with others in the wrong direction. I am me. I am strong. I have a big heart. I speak my truth. I don't back down. I am me. I don't settle. I go after what I want. I won't apologize for being me. I am me. I accept you. I accept everyone as they are, as they want to be. That's me.
Was that better?
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. All yours, ShaHaWin.
All right. And feelings. That's on feelings. That's what really messes us up. And I know two of y'all did not get to see the first two lessons that I put on, but you can go on to ShaHaWin on YouTube and pick them up. And we started up the first class off with the story of the two wolves, which explains your emotional self and your mental self and how they are to work together with one another. But because of the way we have been conditioned, can y'all hear me okay? Because I got the microphone pretty far away. Okay. But we've been conditioned through, going to school and everything that we have to compete against almost everything that we want to do to be the best that we can be, when we really do not have to do that. What we need to understand is that we all stand in the light of Creator, and that light is what helps us shine, and we don't have to compete for that light. What Creator wants us to do is join hands in the light and bring all of our lights together to make the light brighter. And but until you learn how to balance your own energy fields within inside yourself, your male and your female, which we call shadow and spirit, then you're going to have that battle going on within inside you, fighting your emotions every day and fighting the emotions that are other people are, putting upon you. So today we're going to really talk about having pain and fear, because that has come up in my life all this week. And when you get afraid, that's the hardest emotion to really get out of. And when you have other issues in your body going on, like I have anxiety really bad sometimes, so I also was having panic attacks. So you can imagine it's like you feel like you're going to die when you're having a panic attack plus an asthma attack at the same time. And it's not no fun. And so you have to learn how to balance that and realize that, you know, to take the fear out of it. And that's very hard to do because, you know, fear comes in many forms. And like I said, we've been conditioned in many ways, even through going to school, that we weren't good enough, you know, to participate, or we never won. You know, they put us in spelling bees and all kinds of stuff and made us learn that you were either going to be a loser or a winner, which isn't true. You're the victor. And the victor is always going to have victory. But your emotions are going to get in the way because you're going to have that little shadow in your body telling you, you're not good enough. Why do you think, you know, a lot of people, I've talked to a lot of people that even say that when they pray, they don't think that God hears their prayers because they're not worthy enough for him to. And that is all conditioned from what other people have told us, and then we believed it. So to really work on yourself, you have to go through, and it's not an easy thing to do, but you have to go through and pull all of them skeletons out of your closet that you hide, that you don't want others to see about yourself, and look at them, and then try to figure out where they came from. Why is this a belief that I have? And the only way you can really be able to get rid of it is to know the difference between the two wolves. And that's why I did the story of the two wolves. And one, I'll do it real short again for you today, in case y'all don't know, that one is good and one is bad. And the way that happened is we have male and female energy that runs through our body. And when our shadow self, the bad wolf, which is also ego, when it took its first energy, because that's what it eats, it ate off of the side of ownership. And it did not, and was not taught that it could eat off of the faith and truth side, which was our spirit. So it grew up eating nothing but negative. Anything that had ego. Let me see if I can pull it up, because this is the what this energy, your ego side eats. It eats anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity. And trust me, each one of us at some point in our life has played the victim role very well. I know I did. For many, many moons, I was a good victim, but also I switched over and learned that I was a victor instead of the victim. Guilt, resentment, not being able to tell the truth because you was afraid if you told the truth, people would make fun of you. So that introduced false pride and superiority, and that's the dark wolf. That's what we call shadow. And then the good wolf is, it brings in joy, peace, love, unity, serenity, hope, kindness, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. But we don't never turn that side on until you get a little bit older, because we're always in competition, because we've been taught that we're not standing together as a team. You have to compete to get there. But we really are a team, and our purpose is to come together and hold hands in that light, because each one of us brings that light into the circle of light, which is the circle of life that we're living in right now. And the more people that understand that, the more the light and the frequency pattern is going to rise up, and it's going to break us free from a lot of this energy that we feel like we're stuck in right now, because a lot of us can feel the energy. It's like walking through a swamp. And some people, the swamp waters are over their heads. Some people are having tsunamis hit them, and some people are wading in it. But that's your emotional level of where you're at. Last week I was talking about a dream that I had right after my mama passed. Her name was Nawasa Lightfoot. And she came into my room, and I was asleep in the bed in my dream. And she had a staff, and she was escorted in by somebody that I knew that was still alive, which I thought was kind of funny. But when her staff hit the ground, it went dong, and it scared me to death. You know, this is what I'm talking about, this fear and pain. So I've had it all my life, but I was definitely afraid of her because she could call lightning down, and when she would get angry, sometimes she'd say, "I'm going to cause lightning to hit you in the butt." And I've seen her do that to a couple of people when I was a kid. And so it put fear in me. So I tried not to do very much to make my mama mad at me. But anyway, she'd come into my dream, and when that first dong happened, I threw the covers over the top of my head and tried to hide. And in my dream, I was like, well, if she thinks I'm asleep, she'll leave me alone. Well, that didn't happen. Her staff hit the floor 2 more times, doing the same thing till she got to my bed, and she flew over the covers. And of course, like I said, I was scared to death. I was shaking because I knew I thought I was in trouble because of the vibrational sound of her staff hitting the ground, I guess. And so all I could remember was she said, the floodwaters are coming, the floodwaters were coming. And I woke up. But it was such a massive dream that I couldn't write it down. So I had called my girlfriend in the middle of the night, and I'd asked her if she'd write the dream down. And she did, but we forgot about it. And all I could remember about the dream was my mama saying the floodwaters were coming, the floodwaters were coming. So every time there was a big flood somewhere in the United States, I said, oh, that must have been what my mama was talking about. No. So last April, I had a heart attack. And when I was getting over my heart attack, I was sitting outside on my porch and having a little talk with spirit every morning, doing my smudging, clearing myself, and just trying to feel better. And spirit had told me that one of the reasons why I had my heart attack was because I had never really truly allowed joy to come into my life. And so I asked Spirit, I said, well, what is joy? What does it look like? How do you know that you have joy? And so this has really truly happened. I look down the road, and here comes this yellow balloon, and the wind's blowing it. And there's a long string on the yellow balloon. So I'm looking for this little kid that's done lost his balloon, and it's blowing up the road. But there's no kid running after it. And I'm looking at this yellow balloon, and I'm going, if that balloon comes in my yard, I'm gonna get it. because yellow's my favorite color. But also yellow represents emotions, and a lot of people don't know that. And so anyway, sure enough, the balloon blew into my yard, but it blew right where they checked the water meter at. And I had got up and was gonna walk over there to get it. And the wind spun it around at the water meter. And when it spun it around, there was a smiley face on it, and then it popped. And then I started laughing because I said, oh, that's joy. And so I'm gonna get back to my thing with my mama too, because this all plays a part of it. So I'm sitting there going, so that's joy, and I need to lighten up and look out and see the little things like smell the flowers, be happy that you're breathing. And so my friend that had wrote the message down for me that night, she decided she was gonna come see me and stay with me for 2 weeks because I really wasn't doing really good. And I was really looking forward to her coming. But the day before she came, she found the notebook that she had wrote the vision down, of the dream, and she took it out and brought it to me. So when she gets there, she says, I've got something you've got to have. And she says, it's the dream about your mama. So I read it, and this is what it was wrote on August the 16th of 2016. So this is what it says. The flood waters are coming, the flood waters are coming is what ShaHaWin's mom is saying. But this is what she said, and this is so powerful and helped me so much from after my heart attack. But she said, we are the tree of life, and we are the body of the tree. And until we realize we are the body of the tree, we are submerged in the water around the roots of the tree of life. And when we finally realize that we are the body of the tree, we will rise up and emerge out of the water of life. And we will become the light body that will help others be able to get out of the water that is drowning them right now, so that the others will realize that they are the body of the tree too, and that the whole tree is God. And so, like I said, I had this dream August the 16th, but in 2016, but the full meaning of it didn't come to me until after April the 17th of last year. So it's very powerful because it's what we're talking about right now about the emotional self. We are all in our emotional self and our mental self on thinking. And when you don't have your thinking straight, you're being immersed in all that water, and you're drowning. And you can feel like you're drowning. That's why there's so much fighting going on right now. So we really need to teach the people to rise above and realize that they are the body of the tree. And of course, we're all connected. That means we're the leaves and everything. We're all connected. And that's the circle of life. So it's quite interesting. So I'll share another story. After my girlfriend, she stayed for 2 weeks, and I was feeling really, really good. And After she left, there was a little parking spot right outside on my, by my porch. And there's a big tree that stands there. So I like to sit out there in the morning time and look at the tree and, say my prayers to Creator and everything. So my sister's friend that lives with her parks her truck right there, and she backs her truck into the little parking spot, which I don't have no problem with. But on this day, she had put a new sticker on the windshield. Colleen's over here laughing. On the windshield, on the back windshield, and y'all will never guess what it said. Y'all will get a big laugh out of this. I didn't laugh at first, but then I started laughing after I realized, because spirit works in very mysterious ways. But here she has this skeleton hand shooting a bird, on the sticker. And excuse my language, because this is another thing we'll talk about one day is you would never hear a cuss word come out of my mouth. But it said, fuck your feelings. And I'm sitting here at my, on my porch going, she can't park her car here no more. I cannot look at this every day. I cannot, and I was getting very upset, and I sat there and I had a long talk with God that day too. And God just said, well, what's right next door to that fuck your feeling thing? And I'm looking and there's the tree, and I start laughing because I had allowed her sticker to put me into the emotional waters of the tree instead of standing tall as the body of the tree out of the water and just laughing about it. And so now I never asked her to move her truck. It still sits there, but now I just laugh because you do have to learn how to control your emotions and be the body of the tree, or you will drown in that. And I realized, that's how she feels about things. And it is not my place to tell her that she can't feel like that. But she'll learn from watching others and how they deal with stuff. And so I just go around and, I told her how I felt about it to start off with, and I told her about the tree. So, but it's really not about telling other people. It's about walking your own path and finding your true self within your path and what you can live with. How do you deal with your emotions? Because you're going to come up and you're going to be very afraid of things. Like I was afraid of my mama coming in. And, since I had my heart attack, it created a lot of fear in me about dying. But, I know that to die is just a transformation. Your spirit transforms and your soul goes in transformation. And you don't die, the body part, your fleshly part dies, but you don't. And that's comforting, but guess what? It does not take that fear away. You still gonna have to experience that fear and get through it where you can balance it. And since I've been having these panic attacks, I know that right now that part of my lessons that I'm going through is to balance the fear that I have in me. And on a universal level, there's so much fear that we're all feeling right now due to what's happening in Ukraine and due to, all the food prices going up. Everybody's wondering how they're going to live. there's a lot of fear that we're all feeling. And if you're an empath, you're getting like a double whammy because you're getting all the dimensional feelings of it because it's hanging in the air. So to really balance yourself is, I showed the technique in the last class I had. There is a way that you can center yourself in your heart chakra that is your sacred space. A lot of people have not realized this. This is old knowledge coming back. But to put yourself there, the easiest way to do it is to put your finger on your third eye and run it down to your heart. And then take a deep breath, and you will feel, sometimes it could be just a small little place, but you will feel that peace or that calmness in you. That's your sacred spot. And you have to practice, but that sacred spot will grow, and it'll eventually grow like a big bubble and go around your feet all the way to the top of your head. And it's kind of the same way as you put your light, your golden light, or your bubble around your spiritual self, and when you're doing for protection. This is a totally different bubble. This is your sacred space bubble, and nothing can enter it except for God. And it's where you are safe. No fear can enter anything. And so that's how you can balance yourself when you're off balance in your emotional self. If you can remember to do that and bring yourself back into balance, then you'll be able to overcome some of the difficulties that we have when we are addressing fear and being afraid. And sometimes you just have to breathe through it too. But you got to realize you're okay, and because it's a pattern, and we run in cycles and patterns of energy. And one of the biggest things that really truly helps me is that I really truly know that it is a pattern and a cycle. And when you can realize that, you will always know that cycle pattern will change. So if you can just hang on to going through those waves, those emotional waves that are being sent out, stand up tall as a tree because you are the body of the tree, so you don't need to be in the roots, drowning in the emotional part of it. Your walk will become a lot smoother. Yeah, I can't say it won't become easier, because some of the stuff that we're gonna be facing is not a good thing. But we're all gonna get through it. But it's really, we're gonna get through it if we are in a more balanced state of understanding. And I know that I started this late, so I'm gonna, I'd like to go into questions, because I'm sure y'all have questions that y'all want to ask about things. And I think we should do that. And if y'all have anything, that you would like to share with the group, I'm open for that too, because this is not just about me having this class. This is for everybody to connect together and share their wisdom too, because each one of us carries a piece of the puzzle that we each need. And until we can connect together like that, we're not going to be able to put our pieces of the puzzle together. So I thank y'all for coming today. I hope what I've said has helped a little bit, because life can, you know, people are gonna say stuff to you that pull you right out of your balance in a heartbeat without, like you can go past somebody and smile at them and say good morning, and they decided not to say good morning to you. And before you realize that you're angry because that person didn't say good morning to you. And so you're gonna have to really start being in awareness of how others are making you feel, because you cannot change other people and how they feel or how they respond to you. The only thing you can change is how you respond to it. And that's what's gonna make your attack a lot easier. So Robbie, we're gonna go into questions. So you can unmute everybody. And if anybody has a question, we'll go from there.
I have a,
Robbie, you have the first question.
always that guy. This made me
That is
think,
fine.
this made me think how the roots need to be in that water of emotion for the tree to grow. Like the emotions, like we need to contrast the good and the bad to see the good, the dark to see the light. And once we realize that, it's like then we realize that we are the tree that sort of is nourished by it all.
And that is correct. Now, see, and we talked about this in a couple of the past two lessons. We have been taught to start way in the past, part ourselves away, and that's what's created great separation in us. And in the world, you cannot push that away. That's part of yourself. You have to bring it into conditions and understand you. It's like having a relationship. Is you have to have a relationship with your male side, just like
ShaHaWin, is ShaHaWin breaking up to everybody else, or is it just me? Yeah. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, maybe move it closer.
I'll move it closer. Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So let me start over. So we've been taught to push that bad side away and not look at it. That's part of the skeletons in the closet. Okay, but that's also having a relationship with your own self. You can, there's no way to separate the yin and the yang. The male and the female is in everything. And that's how it works. So you have to have a partnership with it. But your egoic side is not the one that controls the, like, right now, a lot of people, that's how it is. Their ego, they're not in awareness. But there's another side that you can travel on. But you want to have a relationship with your shadow self. And it's actually like having a relationship. It's actually like having a relationship with, just like you would have a relationship with a male or a female in the outside, but you're actually having this relationship with yourself on the inside, and you have to bring it together, and you have to talk to yourself, and you have to talk to your shadow self and say, we're not going to do it this way, we're going to do it like this. And eventually your shadow side of yourself will start learning how to eat off of the positive energy. And once it learns that it can eat the positive energy, it won't fight you as bad. But the reason why there is a fight going on right now is because it thinks it is starving to death when you cut it off from it eating, because that's how it eats food. The energy is its food. It's not the food that we put in our bodies. So it's fighting because it thinks it is dying. And until you can learn to teach it how to eat off of the positive side, you're going to have that battle within you. But once it starts learning that it can eat the positive energy, it's going to balance up in you a lot quicker. And then that's when you're going to have to start having a relationship with your own self. And that's where self-love comes in. And you're going to realize a lot about yourself that you didn't know. And that means, like I said, you're going to have to pull all the skeletons out of the closet and look at them and say, "Ooh, yes, I was like that at one time. I'm so glad I'm not like that anymore." And you're going to have to come to terms with it and be okay, because you can't push it away and hide it. That was a part of you, but you went through that to get to where you're at today. And that's why you are who you are today. And the more you can balance that, the more you will become the hollow bone for Creator. And you'll be able to move that part of yourself aside so that Creator can work through you to help others. And I'm going to leave it like that and go to the next question. And Rodney, you'll need to unmute everybody because everybody's muted.
They can unmute themselves. They've actually muted themselves. So if anyone has any questions, just unmute yourself, bottom left corner, and ask away.
And if y'all have any questions,
Well, the hollow bone.
can y'all hear Colleen?
Maybe a little more about the hollow bone and how to become that, but it sounds like it's definitely connected with looking at the skeleton.
Yes.
Not merging them with the good.
Yeah.
Is that what they're saying?
Well, what you're going to do is to become the hollow bone is when you have actually told yourself that you're going to work for spirit and spirit itself. And you're still going to balance yourself and do the physical things that you need to do to keep yourself healthy and everything. But your sole purpose is to work for Creator and bring that knowledge to the people that need it. And when you become the hollow bone, people will be aware because they'll be able to see your light shining and they will know that you're speaking the truth. But I tell everybody, don't listen to just what people say, because a lot of people can spit out a lot of stuff out of their mouths, and you can believe that. What you need to do is look at their walk and see how they're walking it. Are they talking their talk and they're walking their talk too? Because if they're not walking it, then they're just gaslighting you with their words. And there's a lot of people that do that. And there's a lot of people that know that will tell you, "Oh, I know this, but they won't walk it." It's a hard walk. When you start really balancing yourself, there are things when you start trying to become the hollow bone that will happen to you. You will realize it's a very lonely road because you will start separating from people. The energy of the shadow will only go to like-minded energy, and the energy of the spirit does the same. It's on a parallel pattern that never crisscrosses. The only time that it crisscrosses is in your heart and in your third eye. And it makes a figure 8, but that's when you become the hollow bone and it can go back and forth and work properly. And it takes a lot of practice to get there. I hope that helped. Did that help, Colleen?
Yeah.
The only
road.
It does. It becomes a lonely road, but then you will find you will start going and meeting like-minded people that are walking a spiritual path like you want to, and then you'll realize that, you know, you're not by yourself anymore, but you will weed your garden out. Because there are some people that cannot, you know, you're not allowed to be in your life because they're causing, especially if you're an empath, that can cause you to follow their heads. Because you can't get out of here, get out of nothing, get out of the life. So you could lose yourself. So you have to be very careful of that. And that takes a lot of practice. But see, when you learn that you are the tree, and you stand as the tree, then you can reach into the waters and pull the people into the light. And you dive deep into those waters. But you have to also know that there's a chance that you can get stuck in that water again too if you're not real fast. So it is a lot of work. It will not happen overnight. But it's like when I chose to do this, it's been quite a long time, and I've been walking and learning as I go. I wasn't born with all this wisdom. You know, I had to learn it. And I used to get so mad at my mama because she wouldn't teach me things. And she told me I'd learned it as I go. And the only thing she told me to do was study the ants. And I didn't understand what that meant until after she passed away. But if you study the ants, what do ants do? Ants work together. And there is a pattern and a cycle on how they work. And so I laugh about that sometimes because, you know, she was showing me that you have to work together with everybody and understand everybody. So it's okay to be with people that are in their shadow. Self is also to be in awareness so that you don't lose yourself while you're there, if that makes any sense.
Awareness is what it's all about. Where it starts.
So anybody else have any questions?
That's good. I love that.
I just have a comment, if that's okay.
That's
I've been working quite diligently with spirit and with meditation in recent months, and I did a meditation, and I ended up on top of this hill in front of a great big nunnery, and I was up there praying and happy and jumping around and dancing. I was so happy, you know, up there on that hill alone in front of that monastery. Okay. And and it was funny because I'm one of these kind of people who feels like, you know, I need people in my life. I need people in my life. I need someone to be with me in my life. You know, I don't like being alone, you know. But yet when I went up there in front of that hill and I was jumping around, and Spirit says to me, this is where you're supposed to be. And I sat and I thought, you know, okay, so I'm alone, but I'm alone, you know, but it's okay. It's okay. You're happy here. That's what he said to me. You're happy here. You're dancing. Okay. But it is still hard to let go of that need for other human contact. Quite, you know, I live in a household with 8 people. You know, I have a 3-year-old granddaughter.
Right.
You know, and who is constantly at my lap. You know, and I'm like, I want to be alone. I want to be alone. there I am. What, I can't be alone, and I want to be alone. It's like, give me 5 minutes of aloneness. I got to find the balance someplace in there. But I miss. I used to be in a native in a tribal group, and I miss the fellowship that I had there, and what like-mindedness there was. But my heart wanted to go deeper, and I ended up having conflicts with a lot of things that they were saying and doing, and then I'm catching them and realizing that their motives weren't the same as mine, that they didn't want the same thing as I wanted, and we literally, my husband and I had to step out of it because it was too straining because we want to walk a spiritual path and they wanted to walk something else. And I'm not going to say what it was, but you know what I mean? It hurt. It hurt a lot
Oh,
to
yes.
drop away from that. And I miss that so much. I miss that, but Spirit's telling me, well, this is the walk that you have to walk that spiritual walk, is that aloneness, is one with him.
Yes, and see, one of the things that I've learned too is that when you're learning how to balance your shadow and your spiritual self, you need to be by yourself to do that. And you need to have God, walk with God by yourself so that you can find that balance that so you will really truly know when you get out into a group of people if this is what you want to be in or if this is not. But there are groups coming, there are groups coming right now of people that are that feel just like you do. There's a new group that's coming. And
I hope so.
are really truly going to be walking a better path because we all want to become the hollow bones and be in service to God, not in
Yes.
service to our ego. And the biggest thing is that there won't be just one person in control of how it goes. It will be a committee that talks about it and everybody's input is part of that. Because
Yes.
that's how it connects, that's how it's gonna connect. And then that's all coming, but the ones that have been walking all by themselves and see in your little vision that you had, you really wasn't by yourself because they put you in a nunnery, by a nunnery. And if you think about it, what do all the nuns do in a nunnery?
They pray.
There you go. And they stand in silence with God.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer. So he was kind of showing you that he still wanted you to be in prayer, in your prayer time with him by yourself instead of with a group. Because when you're when you're in a relationship with somebody, you're going to give most of yourself to that person to make them happy. And this happens unconsciously where God wants you to serve him completely.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to learn how to become like balanced within yourself and do that service to God. And then also have a relationship with somebody else out of that where you can serve them to the best of your ability, but never give up that service that you give to God.
Exactly.
That long time is teaching you that.
Yeah, and I desire it. I desire that alone time. I want it, I want that alone time because I sit there and I meditate. I play my drum. I say some prayers that I have, and I sing, and and I'm happy, and I feel great peace. So yeah, I need to balance that in my life, and just hope that eventually God will put me back in, the Creator will put me back into a circle again, with people who are like-minded, and that I can cope without feeling inferior or like feeling Well, I do have, specific inferiority problems,
Yeah.
because I've been heavy all my life. Okay. And it's just a, it's become such a burden to me that I want so much to be rid of this, but it just, my life keeps bumping me back and forth, I mean, one time I gain that weight and then I lose the weight and then I gain the weight and I lose the weight, and I just, I have to stop hating myself for doing that
That's correct.
because, it's just the way this body is, and it's the things I go through, because, I was injured and I couldn't walk, or I can't walk very much. I can't exercise. Even if I eat healthy, I don't lose weight. It's like, because I can't move real good, and so I need to start realizing that it's not really the outside. It's just a shell. It's the inside that really counts.
And look, there's a lot of people that when you get to the right group, and guess what? You're in the right group right now on this Zoom call to get all the love that you need. Trust me, we have plenty of,
Okay.
and my daughter and I too have problems weight-wise. Mine's from thyroid because I don't have a thyroid. So when they change my thyroid medicine, I go up and
Okay.
down. And
Me too. Half of it's missing.
so you have no control over that. But the biggest thing, this was part of our conditioning too, in schools and stuff, is we were taught to feel worthy of ourselves, but we are. That's one of our birthrights. We are worthy of all things. And appreciation and acceptance, accept it's okay to be who you are. And if people do not like who you are, that it's their loss, not yours. And all you just do is say, bless you, and send them love. Send them love and light, because that's what's gonna help with the vibration of changing this in the world on a humanitarian vibrational level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because
I do that. I do that. Yeah, I have to do that to the people who have in my life from the time I was very young made fun of me. I mean, I had a really, really hard upbringing. In school, I was always called names and I was always pointed out, and it was very, very hurtful,
Yeah.
Constantly called fatso, constantly, being told I was, I didn't fit in. They didn't pick me to do things, and I was the last one standing there all the time, but I have to sit there and go, I forgive, and send the light to Jake, who did this to me. That's one of the things I've been working on, is like, saying, okay, I forgive my brother for being so mean to me about my weight, and I have to send light to him and say, you were just all things,
Okay, and also remember that when you're saying, asking for that forgiveness, that also ask for that forgiveness for yourself for having ownership, taking the ownership of the other person's feelings that were not yours.
Yeah. Oh boy, I'm guilty of that.
And when you start doing that, you'll feel that peel off of you. Because that's a conditioning that we were all conditioned to do at a young age, and as you all well can see, we still got bullying going on in the schools. We got bullying going on out in the streets. It's from all this conditioning that needs to be changed back into love and compassion. And we are the ones that we have waited for to come. And we are the grandmothers that are going to have to get out and start talking to these younger kids so that these younger kids can start teaching this too. Because right now, the kids that are coming of age that are 17, 18 years old, it's not gonna be pretty for some of them because they don't care about America. They don't care if you hang a flag in your yard. They just care about what they want.
Yeah, I have 11,
God,
11-year-old, I have 11-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 16-year-old. So that's just at that age.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and we've got to bring this knowledge back to them. And we've got to bring the family unit back together is what it is. And, but before you can do that, you gotta work on yourself and bring yourself back together. Because if you're not all together, how are you gonna do that for somebody else? So it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it
But
is.
we're gonna get there because we are, you know? If you truly give your service to God, He's gonna show you the way.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
And I know, and I agree that he is doing that. I mean, I've got myself in another circle of with a Micmac elder, and they're called the Spirit Talkers, and is a big spiritual connection there that we work on every week for a year. So I'm very much enjoying that. Has very much helped me a lot to pull myself up out of that waters down here by the roots, pull myself instead of sinking, I definitely am feeling like I am coming up out of the water, but I'm reading a lot. So I'm reading a lot of different books. I've read some, The Four Agreements and by Miguel, and I've read the one on the five, I forgot one I recently read. I can't think of the name of it. It was written by his son, and it's the 5 levels of attachment. That's what it is.
Yes.
That's a very good book too that I've been reading. So I know that Creator's put me and is pushing me and teaching me. I can see that in my life. But it's nice to be here though and hear it from somebody else.
Well, I'm glad you could come and join our lesson today. I really am. We'll be doing this every Tuesday, and I really haven't planned what's going to be said on the show. I'm letting it be guided by spirit because it just seems that every time we have done this so far, it has just clicked all together and been the proper thing to talk about. And today, I think there's been a lot of fear going on in a lot of people, and that brings up anger, and it brings up not wanting to move forward. It kind of puts you in a path where you just want to stay indoors and not go out. And
Yes.
we've got to learn to be able to know that we're going to be safe wherever we are. That's getting into your center and going like today. I had my asthma attack and then a panic attack, and I knew immediately that was part of my shadow side of myself trying to prevent me from doing this class today. So you have to work through it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here. Well, I enjoyed what you had to say. Does anybody else have anything to say?
Just a quickie.
Can y'all hear Leo?
Just a quickie.
Maybe?
Move the microphone over towards him.
Yeah. He's gonna move towards the microphone.
I kind of like to do things by the numbers. And, my way of dealing with this stuff is, it goes in stages. Just like Margarita just said, she was in a parking lot. First, the problem develops, wherever it comes from. And then there's the awareness, like she became aware she had a problem. Then there's a choice. That's number 3. There's a choice how you're going to deal with it. Are you going to run away from it, or you're going to take the bull by the horns? And then, of course, there's how exactly dealing with it, put it in perspective. Even if you've got a bad disease, hey, the next world is just fine. Just putting things in perspective really helps. Anyway, I like to put those things in by the numbers like that. It seems to help.
That all you want?
That's all I got.
Oh, well, that was really good. Okay, that was great. So I'm gonna say this, I had wrote this too, and I wanted to read it to y'all. That energy is a language that runs through you from the universe. And if you feel it, you will use it just like it's money. I know that sounds funny, but you will. So you need to start paying attention to the way you use your energy, because sometimes you will buy the experience that you're going to be having. And what I mean by that is when you allow your consciousness to focus on someone or something that annoys you, and I just put this as a example. You are paying and feeding that shadow self your energy. And it recuperates it by the experience of what you get back from it, which is being annoyed. So you had to pay quite a lot of attention to it. And always remember that like-minded energy attracts like-minded energy. Be very selective on how you focus and keep your awareness, because you want to keep it going and alive, because it's not just within you, it is also outside of you in the collective consciousness of the world. Do not let pain and fear that is out of your own hands make you turn cold or hateful. Just let it go, because you can't change it. But you can choose not to let it change you. So don't let pain define you. You are better than that. And remember who you are. You are a child of God, and rise up and be that tree and stand in your light. And that's how we'll end the program today. And Rodney, would you like to say the closing prayer?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, ShaHaWin. Father Sky, Mother Earth, all our ancestors, all our relatives, we thank you once again for this gathering of our souls where we've been able to hear your message spoken through ShaHaWin. We ask that we apply these teachings to our hearts, to our minds, to our lives. We ask you help us to be those trees of life standing tall. Help us to see the areas that we need to grow, we need to change, and we need to let go. We thank you for the love that has been shared in this group. I ask that you guide each and every one of us through this week, protect each and every one of us, and fill us with your spirit and your love and your healing energy. We thank you for this time. We thank you for this gathering. And with that, I say, aho.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and I hope I can see y'all next week. It was very nice to have y'all here in my little class.
Thank you.